A family saloon, budget mid-size sedan, 4 doors, front-wheel drive, the kind of car you see in supermarket parking lots across Britain. In 1994, the Renault Laguna hits showrooms as a replacement for the aging 21. Cloth seats, basic 2-liter engine, around 15,000 pounds new. Not exactly motorsport material. Yet by 1997, this unremarkable French hatchback will rewrite British touring car history. 12 wins in one season, a record that stands for 26 years. 110-point margin over second place. Absolute domination. How does a cheap family car become unstoppable? The answer sits in a workshop in Didcot, England, where Formula One champion Frank Williams decides to build touring cars. Honda, Audi, Nissan, Peugeot, Volvo. Manufacturers pouring millions into 2-liter naturally aspirated machines that push 300 horsepower. The super touring regulations demand 4-door saloons minimum 4.2 meters long. At least 25,000 units produced, 2-liter engines max, 6 cylinders, 8,500 RPM limit, front-wheel drive cars weigh 975 kilograms. Rear drive gets 1,000, 4-wheel drive hits 1,040. Sequential 6-speed gearboxes, limited slip differentials, no traction control, no electronic aids, pure mechanical grip. The playing field looks level on paper. In reality, the gap between winning and losing measures in tenths of seconds and kilograms of ballast. Swiss driver Alain Menu joins after years in Formula 3000 and 1 season in BMW touring cars cut short by a quad bike accident at Knockhill. The 19 shows promise. Menu takes 1 win, Tim Harvey another. But the car lacks development. Reliability issues plague the season. Menu finishes 10th overall. The 19 is replaced for 1994 by the new Laguna. MCT builds the chassis. The results improve immediately. Menu wins twice. Finishes second in the championship behind Alfa Romeo's Gabriele Tarquini. Another second place in 1995. Then again in 96. 3 years. 3 runner-up finishes. Always close. Never quite enough. The Laguna needs more than incremental gains. It needs Formula One engineering. Williams will take over the BTCC program starting 1995. Williams touring car engineering forms in Didcot. The same team that runs Formula One cars for Damon Hill and David Coulthard now focuses on a family hatchback. The partnership makes perfect sense. Renault supplies engines to Williams F1. Both want the BTCC crown. Frank Williams commits resources, real resources, wind tunnel time at the F1 facility, carbon fiber composite work, advanced data acquisition systems, suspension geometry refined through computational fluid dynamics. The 1995 season shows what Formula One know-how brings to touring cars. Menu wins 7 races, Will Hoy's teammate, but Vauxhall's John Cleland wins the title with 4 consecutive mid-season victories. The Laguna has speed, but not consistency. Williams engineers analyze every failure, every tenth lost, every mechanical issue logged and solved. The 1996 season brings 4 more Menu wins, another second place, 92 points behind Audi's Frank Biella. The 4-wheel drive A4 Quattro carries extra ballast, but the grip advantage in wet conditions proves decisive. More money flows to Sodemo, the French engine tuner based at Magny-Cours. Sodemo already builds engines for Formula 3, rally cars, Le Mans prototypes. They understand high-revving, naturally aspirated 4 cylinders. The brief is simple. Find every horsepower, every newton-meter of torque. The 2-liter inline 4 starts at 285 brake horsepower in 1995. By late 96, Sodemo pushes past 300. More than Ford's V6, more than anything else on the BTCC grid, valve timing optimized, intake runners shaped in CFD software, exhaust headers tuned to scavenge at 8,000 RPM, individual throttle bodies, dry sump lubrication, titanium fasteners throughout. The engine runs to 8,500 RPM redline every single lap without failure. Sodemo guarantees reliability, 2 full race weekends, 4 races, 0 mechanical issues. The power plant becomes a weapon. The suspension geometry allows the car to rotate on corner entry without liftoff oversteer that plagues front drive machines. Williams fits Hewland sequential 6-speed gearboxes, paddle shift, titanium selectors, gear changes in 40 milliseconds, limited slip differential custom built, ceramic brake discs, 6 piston calipers front, 4 rear. AP Racing supplies the hardware, 15-inch wheels, slick tires regulated by series rules. The complete race car weighs exactly 975 kilograms, including fluids, not a gram more. Every component optimized for minimum weight and maximum strength. Carbon fiber doors, Lexan windows, aluminum everywhere possible, titanium where aluminum won't survive. Rear wing sits within homologation limits but generates real downforce. Underbody sealed, diffuser angle calculated to pull the car onto the track. The aero balance shifts with speed, neutral at low speeds for corner rotation, more rear biased above 100 miles per hour for stability, The 1997 Laguna produces more downforce than any previous Williams touring car while maintaining lower drag than the competition. Wind tunnel testing confirms a 2% drag reduction versus 1996 while increasing downforce 12%. In racing, where tenths matter, that gap is enormous. Roger King, who works on the rival Audi team, later calls the Laguna's aero package perfectly balanced. He says they could feel a difference with 3mm splitter adjustments. That level of refinement costs money, lots of money. Each wind tunnel session runs thousands of pounds per hour. Williams spends it without hesitation. The dynamic between them is clear. Menu has experience. Plato has raw speed. Williams gives them equal equipment. The best touring cars in Britain, maybe Europe. The pressure is on. Renault Wasset UK demands results. Williams' reputation is on the line. Formula One teams don't lose in national championships. First pole in his first BTCC race. The rookie embarrasses the entire grid. Menu qualifies second. The Lagunas lock out the front row. Race 1, lights go out. Plato holds the lead through Redgate. Menu tucks behind. They pull away from Biela's Audi. By lap 5, the gap is 2 seconds. By lap 10, it's 4. The Renaults are simply faster, everywhere. Braking, corner speed, acceleration. Plato's inexperience shows. Menu dives inside at the old hairpin. Plato defends, but Menu has momentum. Menu takes the lead. Plato slots in second. They finish 1-2. Race 2, identical story. Menu wins. Plato second. 4 wins. From 4 races? No. Menu takes both. Plato learns. 24 races remain. The championship fight just started. Braking zones where cars hit 140 miles per hour before scrubbing speed for chicanes. Plato takes pole again. Second consecutive pole. Menu qualifies second again. Race 1. Menu gets a better start. Leads into the complex. Never looks back. Plato finishes second. Race 2. Menu wins again. Plato second again. 4 wins. 4 Menu victories. 4 Plato second places. The pattern is clear. Menu has racecraft. Plato has 1 lap pace, but can't translate it into victories. Not yet. The championship standings after 2 rounds show Menu with 96 points. Plato 172. Biela third with 48. The Audi carries 95 kilograms more ballast than the Laguna. The 4-wheel drive tax. Audi complains. Series organizers eventually relaxed the penalty by 30 kilograms at Oulton Park in May, but the damage is done. The Laguna has the early momentum. The Audi has power in a straight line, if not in corners. Biela makes a move at Copse. Menu holds position. They touch. Nothing serious. Menu wins. Biela second. Plato third. Menu now leads the championship by 100 points. Unassailable? Not quite. 18 races remain, but the trend is undeniable. The Laguna is the car to beat. Menu is the man to beat. Everyone else is racing for third. Honda's Accord, driven by Gabriele Tarquini and James Thompson, shows pace at certain circuits. Volvo introduces the new S40, replacing the boxy 850. Ricard Rydell drives it. Nissan returns with the Primera. RML builds the cars. David Leslie and Anthony Reid get the seats. Ford runs the new shape Mondeo, built by Reynard. Driven by Paul Radisich and Will Hoy, Vauxhall struggles with the Vectra. Aerodynamic miscalculation robs downforce. The car won't work its tires. Peugeot's 406, run by Motorsport Developments, lacks pace. Every manufacturer throws money at the problem. Development never stops. Wind tunnel, engine dyno, gearbox ratios, suspension geometry, tire compounds, data analysis. The BTCC becomes an engineering arms race. Williams has the deepest pockets and the best people. The gap widens. Elevation changes. Narrow track. Overtaking difficult. Menu qualifies on pole. Plato second. The script flips. Race 1. Menu leads. Plato pressures. Biela lurks third. Menu pulls away. Wins by 2 seconds. Race 2. Menu dominates again. 7 wins from 10 races. The championship is becoming a procession. Biela takes 5 victories during the season. Honda drivers grab 2. But nobody challenges Menu's consistency. He finishes on the podium in race after race after race. When he doesn't win, he's second or third. Points accumulate. The margin grows. By mid-season, Menu leads by 60 points, then 80, then 100. Biela wins. First non-Renault victory of the season at Brands. Race 2. Menu finishes third. Tarquini wins in the Honda. Suddenly, the championship looks competitive. Biela cuts the gap, but Menu still leads by 70 points with 12 races remaining. The math favors the Swiss driver. He needs only consistency, not victories. The pressure shifts to his rivals. They must win. He just has to finish. Narrow circuit, technical. Rewards precision over power. Menu takes pole. Race 1, Menu wins. Plato second. Race 2, Menu wins again. Plato second again. 9. Menu victories. The dominance returns. Any hope of a championship fight evaporates. Brands Hatch was an anomaly. The Laguna's superiority reasserts itself. Biela wins races but can't maintain consistency. The Audi's ballast penalty hurts in qualifying. Starting mid-pack in BTCC means battles. Battles mean risks. Risks mean crashes or mechanical failures. Menu starts at the front, stays at the front, wins or finishes top 3. Simple, effective, unstoppable. The Audis dominate at Knockhill's unique layout. Menu doesn't care. He adds 14 points, still leads by 90. With 10 races left, the championship is effectively over. The question becomes not who wins, but by how much. Can Menu break records? Can Plato catch Biela for second? Can Williams sweep the manufacturer's title? The answers are yes, yes, and yes. Menu takes pole. Race 1. Menu leads. Suddenly the engine note changes. Loss of power. Menu slows. Pulls off. Retires. Mechanical failure. First of the season. The Sedemo engine finally breaks, but it doesn't matter. Race 2. Plato starts on pole, gets away clean, builds a gap, crosses the line first. His first BTCC victory, maiden win. The joy is immense, but behind him, Menu finishes second. That second place is enough. With 6 races remaining, Menu's lead is insurmountable. The championship is won. At Snetterton in August, with a month of racing still to go, Menu is BTCC champion, finally. After 3 second-place finishes, after 5 years with Renault, the crown is his. Williams has delivered, the Laguna has delivered. Menu allows himself a brief celebration, then refocuses. He wants 12 wins, a record. August 25th, Thruxton. Bincliffe takes 2 wins. Menu finishes on podium both races. September 7th, Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Biela wins race 1. Menu second. Rydell wins race 2 in the Volvo. Menu 4th, September 21st. Silverstone, final round, doubleheader. The championship is long decided, but pride remains. Race 1, Biela wins. Menu second. Plato third. Race 2, Plato wins. Menu finishes behind. Lets his teammate through. Second place. The gesture is clear. Plato challenged for second in the championship standings. Menu no longer needs points. Williams wants a 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. Plato finishes 1 point behind Biela. Third overall. Close. So close. 171 points. 110-point margin. The largest gap in Super Touring history. Williams Renault takes the manufacturer's championship. 118 points ahead of Audi. The team's championship. Dominant. Complete. Total victory. The Laguna takes 36 wins across its entire BTCC career from 1994 to 1999. More than any other Super Touring car. The 1997 season represents the peak, the moment when engineering, driver skill, budget, and regulations align perfectly. Menu later says, Michel Gigoux at Renault UK pushed for increased spending through winter 96 to 97. Gulf Sedemo more money. The extra investment made the difference. That and Williams' know-how, and Menu's experience, and Plato's speed keeping him honest. If you value documented motorsport history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual using sources from the 1997 British Touring Car Championship. Wikipedia entry updated December 21st, 2025, the Williams Touring Car Engineering Historical Analysis. From 1990s, BTCC.com published, June 6th, 2021, Autosport's Deep Dive ranking the greatest Super Touring cars published July 10th, 2024, and technical specifications from Ultimate Car Page and High Performance Classics auction listings for chassis 97/2 and 97/4. These aren't casual sources. These are archives, race records, engineering documents. The real story of how a cheap Renault dominated professional racing. Now back to the information. Nissan's Primera becomes genuinely quick. Honda brings updates. Volvo improves the S40. Menu wins 3 races, finishes 4th overall. The competition has closed the gap. The 1997 package was special. Lightning in a bottle. The perfect combination of rules, budget, and talent. Replicating it proves impossible. By 1999, Menu leaves for Ford. Plato becomes team leader. Jean-Christophe Bouillon Williams F1 test driver joins as second driver. The Laguna takes 1 win at Silverstone. Plato wins it. The car finishes 6th and 7th in the final round at Silverstone. Arena Motorsport runs a customer Laguna for Will Hoy. He takes 2 independent class victories. Then it's over. Williams Touring Car Engineering closes. Renault exits BTCC. The costs spiral out of control. Each competitive car approaches £250,000 to build. Maintenance, spares, travel, personnel. The total budget for a 2-car team hits millions annually. Manufacturers begin withdrawing. Super Touring collapses by 2000. The era ends. An entire generation of gamers grows up racing the green and yellow Laguna through Brands Hatch and Donington. The game sells millions, becomes a benchmark for racing simulations. Even people who never watched BTCC know the Laguna. The car transcends the series. Today, Williams keeps several chassis in their museum. Renault's Heritage Collection at Flins-sur-Seine stores more. A handful compete in historic super touring events run by Wiebe, Motorsport, and others. Chassis 97/2 sold at auction in Le Mans in July 2022, €107,280. Chassis 99/04, the final car built by Williams, sold in 2018, similar price. These aren't cheap, but they're significant pieces of motorsport history. The cars that rewrote the record books. Across a season, the gap becomes insurmountable. The chassis. Williams applied Formula One, thinking to a touring car. Suspension geometry refined through simulation. Aerodynamics tested in F1 wind tunnels. Data acquisition systems that logged every parameter every lap. The competition didn't have those resources. They caught up eventually. But in 1997, the gap was real and decisive. The driver. Menu is often overlooked in discussions of great touring car drivers. He shouldn't be. 36 BTCC wins across his career, 2 championships, 97 with Renault, 2000 with Ford. The man could drive, consistent, fast, rarely made mistakes. In touring cars where contact is common and retirements frequent, consistency wins championships. Menu delivered. And he had Plato pushing him. Without Plato's qualifying speed, Menu might have relaxed. The internal competition made both faster. In a formula where every kilogram matters, that ballast killed the Audi's advantage. The Quattro system gave grip in wet conditions. But most races are dry. Most tracks reward power to weight and corner speed. The Laguna had both. The Audi had grip and nothing else. Biela drove brilliantly, won 5 races, but he fought physics. The Renault fought nobody, just drove away. Ford's Mondeo had a V6 engine, 6 cylinders. Rumors suggested 310 horsepower, more than the Laguna, but the V6 sat higher. Center of gravity suffered. The car didn't rotate like the 4-cylinder front drivers. Handling beat horsepower. Honda's Accord had reliability issues. Fast on occasion, fragile too often. Volvo's S40 came good in 98 when Rydell won the title, but in 97 the car was new, underdeveloped, teething problems. Vauxhall's Vectra had aero issues that couldn't be fixed mid-season. BTCC rules prevented major bodywork changes. The car was stuck. Peugeot tried, but lacked funding. Nissan's Primera showed promise, hints of what came in 98 when the car won regularly. But in 97 it was the new kid, learning, finding pace. By the time rivals caught up, the season was over. Menu had the crown, Williams had the trophy, Renault had vindication. The cheap part is crucial. The Laguna was genuinely affordable as a road car. £15,000 new in 1994, nothing special. Keyless entry that failed constantly. Onboard computer that spoke with a posh English accent. Pleasant enough to drive, comfortable. Reliable once you replaced the keycard system. Sales were strong. Renault shifted hundreds of thousands across Europe. The car met homologation requirements easily. 25,000 units per year minimum. The Laguna sold that in months, unlike some homologation specials built purely for racing. The E30 BMW M3 for Group A, the Mercedes 190 E 2.516 for DTM, the Alfa Romeo 155 Q4 for Italian Super Turismo. Those cars existed to win races. The Laguna existed to ferry families and salespeople across Europe. That it also destroyed professional touring car competition is the beautiful contradiction. The everyman car beating the thoroughbreds. Every component pushed boundaries. The teams that succeeded spent money. Williams, Audi Sport UK, Honda with ProDrive, factory programs with budgets rivaling national championships. The BTCC was the 4th or 5th biggest touring car series globally. The competition fierce, the spending outrageous, and still the Laguna won. Not because it was cheap, because it was better than everything else when it mattered. 12 wins from 24 races, 50%. Menu clinched the title with 6 races remaining, largest points margin ever, 110 points. No success ballast in 97. That came later in 2000. No weight penalties mid-season unless you changed major components. The playing field stayed level. Menu and Williams simply dominated every metric. Poles, wins, podiums, fastest laps, laps led, championship points, one-sided. Brutal, efficient. That's Williams, that's Menu, that's the Laguna. A cheap family car built by Formula One engineers, driven by a hungry Swiss pilot who lost 3 championships before finally breaking through. The combination was perfect. Lightning in a bottle, as said before. Never repeated, never will be. That era of touring car racing ended. Costs killed it. Manufacturers withdrew. The regulations changed. Super Touring became Super 2000, became NGTC. Each iteration trying to control costs, none succeeding. Today's BTCC is tightly regulated, spec parts everywhere. Engines limited, ballast systems complex. Success requires speed, but also strategy. Weight management, tire conservation. The racing is good. Close, unpredictable. But it's not the 90s, not the golden age, not when Williams could spend without limits and dominate. 1997 was the peak, the moment, the year. Menu's 12 wins equaled only once. Ashley Sutton in 2000, 23, 26 years later. Different car, different era, different regulations, but the same number, 12. The record stood for over a quarter century. That's dominance, that's legacy. The Laguna in British racing green and yellow Renault, livery tearing through Brands Hatch. Menu's emotionless precision. Plato's youthful exuberance learning racecraft. Williams engineers in the pit studying data. So demo engines screaming to 8,500 RPM lap after lap. Hewland gearboxes snapping shifts in milliseconds. Crowds at Silverstone and Donington watching something special. A cheap car being perfect. You could buy a Laguna at any Renault dealer. Drive it home. Use it for the school run. And watch one almost identical dominate Britain's toughest racing series. That connection mattered. Fans related. They could afford a Laguna even if they couldn't afford the race version. The emotional bond between road car and race car is Super Touring's essence. Take production vehicles, modify heavily, race them, win, sell more road cars. It worked. Renault sales surged in Britain during the BTCC years. The Laguna became aspirational, not despite being cheap, because of it, affordable performance. That's the message, that's the appeal. Ford brought a V6, unique in the series. 6 cylinders when everyone else ran 4s. The Mondeo had power, lacked agility. The car was fast in a straight line, slow in corners. At circuits like Brands Hatch and Oulton Park with tight technical sections, the Mondeo suffered. Radicic and Hoy drove well. The car let them down. Honda tried. Tarquini won the 94 title in an Alfa, knew how to win. Thompson was fast, aggressive. Both drove the Accord hard. Mechanical failures cost them. Engines blew, gearboxes broke. In Super Touring, reliability is speed. If you don't finish, you don't score. Menu finished, always. Volvo invested heavily. The 850 Estate made headlines in '94. A wagon racing against sedans. Bold, gimmicky, ineffective. The S40 sedan improved things. Rydell won one race at Brands in August, otherwise struggled. The car came good in '98, too late for '97. Nissan showed flashes. The Primera was quick at certain tracks. Leslie and Reed pushed hard, but the car was new. Development takes time. By the time Nissan figured out the Primera menu had the trophy, every competitor had excuses. The Laguna just had wins. Front engine, front drive means weight over the driven wheels. Good for traction, bad for balance. The Laguna's engine sat low and far back in the chassis, behind the front axle line. This shifted weight rearward, improved balance, reduced understeer. The suspension geometry compensated for front drive torque steer. Caster and camber angles adjusted. Toe settings precise. The car rotated on corner entry without snapping into oversteer. It's hard with front drive. Most front drivers understeer. You turn the wheel, the nose pushes wide, you add more steering, the front scrub, lap time bleeds away. The Laguna didn't do that. It turned in sharp, held the line, allowed early throttle application, weight transfer managed through spring rates and damper settings. Anti-roll bars tuned for each circuit. At tight tracks, more front bar to reduce understeer. At fast tracks, more rear bar for stability. The setup window was wide. The car worked everywhere. Tight circuits like Oulton, fast tracks like Thruxton, flowing layouts like Silverstone Grand Prix. The Laguna was never weak. Sometimes other cars matched it at specific circuits. Nobody beat it consistently. That versatility is engineering excellence. Flat panel extending forward, maximum permitted size, generated front downforce balanced against rear wing. The rear wing sat within homologation rules. Small compared to later touring cars, but effective. The main downforce came from underbody, flat floor, sealed sides, diffuser at rear. Venturi effect pulled the car down. At speed, the Laguna generated 200 kilograms of downforce, maybe more. Williams never published exact figures, but the car was glued at high speed, stable under braking, confident through fast corners. Other teams struggled with aero balance. Too much front downforce and the rear becomes loose. Too much rear and you can't turn. The Laguna balanced perfectly. Williams spent months in the wind tunnel finding that balance, testing, adjusting, retesting. The Formula One mentality applied to touring cars. It worked. Lap times proved it. Telemetry proved it. 12 wins proved it. Williams and Hewland developed bulletproof units. They rarely failed. In a championship where mechanical issues cost races, that reliability is victory. Menu could attack every lap, push every gear change, trust the hardware. That confidence breeds speed. Hesitation breeds caution. Caution breeds losing. Menu never hesitated. The gearbox never broke. Simple equation. Fast, reliable car plus fast, reliable driver equals championships. The engine remains the star. So demo motors at Magny Cores delivered 300 brake horsepower from a 2-liter inline 4, over 150 horsepower per liter naturally aspirated. The secret was RPM, 8,500 redline, individual throttle bodies, titanium internals. The engine required rebuilds every 8 races. Strip down, inspect, reassemble, seal. One mechanical retirement all season. Exceptional reliability when rivals suffered constant failures. Menu could attack early without destroying fronts. Many front drive cars burned through front tires by mid-race. Understeer built. Lap times dropped. Menu stayed consistent. His lap times in race 2 often matched race 1 within tenths. That's tire management. That's setup. That's Williams and Menu working together. Plato learned this. His early races showed speed but inconsistency. By mid-season, he managed tires better. His pace late in races improved. He won at Snetterton in race 2 after starting on pole, managed his tires, controlled the gap, delivered victory. That's Renault teaching him. That's the Laguna's setup, allowing it. Good car, good driver, good results. Basic formula, perfectly executed. Ford tried new engine maps, gained horsepower. Still couldn't turn like the Laguna. Honda improved reliability, finished more races, didn't win more. Volvo tweaked suspension geometry, found pace, not enough pace. Nissan developed the Primera throughout the year. By season end, the car was genuinely quick. Too late. Menu had clinched. Racing is a development war. Whoever improves, fastest wins. Williams improved constantly. Every race brought new data. Every test session refined setup. The Laguna at round 1 was good. The Laguna at round 12 was better. Continuous improvement. That's the Williams way. Formula 1 taught them. Touring cars benefited. Menu and Plato reaped rewards. The last season of pure manufacturer warfare. The last time Williams competed, the last time Menu drove a Renault, the peak before the decline. Super Touring continued through '99 in BTCC. 2000 brought new regulations. BTC Touring, then NGTC in 2011. Each iteration tried controlling costs. Success varied, but none recaptured the '90s magic, the era when manufacturers spent freely, drivers pushed limits. Engineers innovated constantly. The racing was door-to-door, overtaking common, contact accepted, rivalries intense. Jason Plato and Even Muller would battle for years. Their rivalry defined the early 2000s, but it started in '97. Plato learning, Muller watching from Peugeot before joining Vauxhall. The seeds were sown. The '90s produced characters. Menu the calculating Swiss, Cleland the fiery Scot, Tarquini the crafty Italian, Rydell the smooth Swede, Harvey the hard charger, Leslie the veteran, Reed the rookie, each with style, each with stories. The grid had personality. Today's BTCC has talent, less personality, more professionalism. The '90s were different, raw. The drivers were warriors, the cars were weapons, the battles were genuine. No team orders most of the time. Race hard, race fair, race to win. That's Super Touring. That's 1997. That's the Laguna. The production car launched January '94. Modern for its time, aerodynamic, CD of 0.32, good for a mid-'90s family car. The interior had that talking computer, keyless entry card that failed and hurt Renault's reputation for years. But the shape was elegant, attractive. The race car amplified that. Wider fenders, bigger wheels, lower stance, wing, splitter, vents, everything purposeful. Racing improves the breed, they say. The Laguna proved it. Take a decent-looking family car, make it a race winner. Suddenly it's beautiful. Perception matters. Success breeds admiration. The 1997 Laguna is gorgeous because it won. If it lost, it would be forgotten. Victory creates legends. Legends create beauty. 2 championships. One of the greats. Plato stayed decades. 97 wins. The most winning BTCC driver ever. His career started alongside Menu in '97. Williams closed after '99, 33 wins, 2 manufacturers' titles. Strong record. Renault never returned. The Laguna nameplate died after 3 generations, but the memory lives. Racing wins, championships, records, legends. Championships are earned through thousands of small advantages compounded. The Laguna had them, Williams delivered them, Renault funded them. The result was history, a record-setting season that stands a quarter century later. Winning writes history. The Laguna won. Made history, now preserved. Anyone who drives one says it feels planted, responsive, fast, like a racing car. Because underneath the Renault bodywork sits purpose-built machinery, every component optimized. The cheap part is marketing. The reality is engineering. Formula 1 level engineering applied to touring cars. Close enough to win 12 times, close enough to set records that stand decades later. That's the story of the 1997 Renault Laguna, the family car that beat the world.